Hello everyone and welcome back to Tech Cloud Solution. If you are preparing for the Azure Fundamentals exam, you are in the right place. If you haven't watched the previous parts, check out the playlist for complete coverage. If you want to download the complete PDF or simulate the exam like Microsoft's real test, visit our website Tech Cloud Solution for exclusive practice material. I will give you the link in the comment section. And make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more in depth exam guides. Now, let's dive into today's question. Question number 11. You plan to use Azure functions to implement some business logic in Azure cloud infrastructure. Which two of the following are valid Azure function triggers? The options are A. Web app trigger, B. Queue trigger, C. VM trigger, and D. Blob trigger. The correct answer is B. Queue trigger and D. Blob trigger. So Azure functions trigger are what cause a function to run. Hence, blob and queue trigger is the correct answer. Other options are not the correct one. Question number 12. Which statements regarding Azure SQL geo-replication are correct? Select two correct options. The options are A. A maximum of 4 secondary replicas can be deployed. B. All replicas are writable. C. Secondary replicas can be promoted to primary. And D. A maximum of 3 secondary replicas can be deployed. So the correct answer is A and C. So Azure SQL Server Database is a relational database is a service based on the latest stable version of Microsoft SQL Server Database engine. SQL database is a high performance, reliable, fully managed and secure database that you can use to build data driven application and websites in the programming language of your choice without needing to manage infrastructure. Geo-replication is an Azure SQL database features that allows you to create a readable secondary database in the same region or cross region. Geo-replication uses the always on feature to replicate committed transaction to the secondary database asynchronously. Now other options are not correct as all replicas are writable is incorrect. So only master is writable. Master replicate data to other replicas which can also be used for read only access queries. Next option, a maximum of 3 secondary replicas can be deployed is also incorrect. Up to 4 secondaries are supported in the same or different regions, and the secondaries can also be used for read only access queries. Question number 13. On which blade can you view your Azure service invoices? Select the correct option. The options are A. Cost management, B. Azure AD, now known as Microsoft Intra ID, C. Access control, and D. Subscription. So the correct answer is D. Subscription. So you can download your invoice in the Azure portal or have it to sent by email. If you are an Azure customer with an enterprise agreement, you can't download your organization's invoice. Instead, invoices are sent to the person set to receive invoices for the enrollment. You must have an account admin role for a subscription to download its invoice. Now the steps are as follows as select your subscription from the subscription page in the Azure portal, then select invoices from the billing section, then select download to download a PDF version of your invoice and then select download under the invoice section. You can also download a daily breakdown of consumed quantities and charges by selecting download under the users details section. It may take a few minutes to prepare the CSV file. All other options are incorrect. Question number 14. Your organization has millions of log entries that it wants to analyze. Which option would be ideal for analysis? Select the correct option. The options are A. Azure SQL Database, B. Azure Synapse Analytics, C. Azure Database for PostgreSQL, and D. Azure Cosmos DB. So the correct answer is B. So Azure Synapse Analytics is the logical choice for analyzing large volumes of data. It gives you the freedom to query data on your terms using either serverless, on demand, or provisioned resources at scale. Now, look why other options are not correct as Azure Cosmos DB. Azure Cosmos DB is a globally distributed schemaless database service that enables you to elastically and independently scale throughput and storage across any number of Azure's geographic regions. Cosmos DB is not an ideal option to collect millions of logs. Next option, Azure SQL Database. So SQL Database is a high performance, reliable, fully managed and secure database that you can use to build data driven application and websites in the programming language of your choice without needing to manage infrastructure. SQL database is not an ideal option to collect millions of logs. Now the last option, that is Azure database for PostgreSQL. So PostgreSQL database is not an ideal option to collect millions of logs. Question number 15. Which Azure compute resource can be used to deploy and manage a set of identical virtual machines? Select the correct option. The options are A. Virtual machine scale sets, B. Virtual machine availability sets, C. Virtual machine availability zones, and D. Azure Resource Manager. So the correct answer is A. Virtual machine scale sets. So Azure Virtual Machine scale sets let you create and manage a set of identical virtual machines and load balance them. The number of VM instances can automatically increase or decrease in response to demand or a defined schedule. Now the other options which are not correct as Azure Resource Manager. So Azure Resource Manager is the deployment and management service for Azure. It provides a management layer that enables you to create, update, and delete resources in your Azure account. Next option we have virtual machines availability zone. Now availability zones are physically separate location with their own power cooling and networking within an Azure region that use availability sets to provide additional fault tolerance. Azure can help make your app highly available through availability zones with 99.99% Azure SLA. Now the last option, virtual machines availability set. Now availability sets ensure your application remains online if a high impact maintenance event is required or if a hardware failure occurs with 99.9% Azure SLA. Availability sets are made of update domain and fault domain. Question number 16. You have two types of applications. One, legacy application that require a specialized mainframe hardware. Second, newer application that can run on commodity hardware. Which cloud deployment model would be the best for you? The options are A. Hybrid model, B. Private cloud, and C. Public cloud. So the correct answer is A. Hybrid cloud. So hybrid cloud provides you the flexibility to run legacy application in your private cloud and newer applications on the public cloud. Hybrid cloud combines public cloud and private cloud by allowing data and applications to be shared between them. Now the other options are not correct as private cloud. So you can run legacy application on the private cloud, but commodity hardware is not possible in the private cloud. Next option, public cloud. A public cloud is a good option for newer applications that can run on commodity hardware, but for legacy applications that require specialized mainframe hardware. You will need to procure and set up a private data center. Question number 17. You want to send messages from the IoT device to the cloud and vice versa. Which IoT technology can send and receive messages? Select the correct option. The options are A. IoT Hub, B. Azure Sphere, C. IoT Central. So the correct answer is IoT Hub. An IoT Hub communicates to IoT devices by sending and receiving messages. Azure IoT Hub is a managed IoT service which is hosted in the cloud. It allows bidirectional communication between IoT application and the device it manages. This cloud to device connectivity means that you can receive data from your devices, but you can also send commands and policies back to the devices. Now, the other options are not correct as IoT Central. So, IoT Central is not concerned with communication between devices and the cloud, though it can initiate this communication via a web based portal. Next option, Azure Sphere. So Azure Sphere creates an end-to-end highly secure IoT solution for customer that encompasses everything from the hardware and operating system on the device to the secure method of sending messages from the device to the message hub. Azure Sphere is not primarily concerned with communication between devices and the cloud. Question number 18. Select three correct statements for Azure Support Plan. Support from MSDN Forum is only provided to companies that have a pay as you go subscription. And the options are A. Azure free account has a limit for the amount of data that can be uploaded to Azure. B. All Azure free accounts expire after a certain period. C. You can create up to 10 Azure free accounts by using the same Microsoft account. D. Azure free account can have an unlimited number of web apps. And E. A basic support plan is included in an Azure free account. So the correct answer is A, B, and E. Question number 19. A company is planning on setting up a solution on the Azure platform. The solution has the following main key requirement: provide a service that could be used to quickly provision, development, and test environment and minimize waste on resources with the help of quotas and policies. Which of the following would be best suited for this requirement? The options are A. Azure DevOps, B. Azure Event Grid, C. Azure Kubernetes, and D. Azure DevTest Labs. So the correct answer is D. Azure DevTest Lab. So it provides self-service cloud environments, that is Windows or Linux, for demo or training purposes to speed up the development process. It can be used to implement many key scenarios, but one of the primary scenarios involves using DevTest Labs to host development machine for developers. In this scenario, DevTest Labs provides these benefits. Number one, developers can quickly provision their development machines on demand. Number two, developers can easily customize their development machines whenever needed. Now the other options are not correct because Azure Kubernetes. Now Kubernetes is an open source orchestration software for deploying, managing and scaling containers. Azure Kubernetes, that is AKS, is a fully managed Kubernetes service on Azure which makes easy to deploy and manage containerized application and remove the burden of managing the underlying infrastructure of Kubernetes deployments. Next option, Azure DevOps. So Azure DevOps services provides development collaboration tools including high performance pipelines, private Git repositories, configurable Kanban boards, and extensive automated and cloud-based load testing. Now the last option, Azure Event Grid. So it allows you to easily build application with event based architectures. It's a fully managed intelligent event routing service that uses a publish subscribe model for uniform event consumption. Event Grid can be used to support your own non Azure based events in real life using custom topics. Question number 20. Which of the following statements is not true about cloud computing? Select the correct option. The options are A. Cloud computing resources are usually limited to a specific geographic regions. B. Three cloud computing deployment models are public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. C. IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS are example of cloud computing service models. And D. Cloud computing typically decreases your operating expenses. The correct answer is A. So, this statement is not true as most cloud computing resources can be distributed to global data centers. So, the majority of computing resources are not limited to a specific region. All other options are correct. That's it for today's Azure Fundamentals exam question review. I hope these tips and tricks help you feel more confident for your exam. And don't forget, you can download the PDF and take a real exam simulation on our websites. Check the link in the comment section. If you found this helpful, like, share, and subscribe for more in depth exam prep, and let me know in the comment how your preparation is going. Make sure to watch the next part in our AZ-900 playlist for more practice question. See you in the next one.